was going through YouTube Studio and I found a lot of comments of some people. Lots of comments, that's good. So, let me go down. And Santocom commented, pretty good, can you teach Scratch? And I'm like, yes, definitely. And that was yesterday. So, it's currently 8:20 and I'm just gonna go ahead and do Scratch. I'm gonna go log on to Scratch. If you don't know, Scratch is basically a copy of what I've been doing on code.org. If you want to see my block coding basketball game, click the I on the right hand corner, or click whatever shows up on the right hand corner, top right hand corner, and yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to be doing a complete overview of Scratch in like around 45 minutes. So be sure to stay tuned the whole video. This is like a complete breakdown because I will not be doing this as a whole series. It will just be one video because it's pretty simple and it's just a copy of what I've been doing on code.org. But since y'all requested it, I'll do it. So there are several different types of code. And they're grouped in several different categories. There's motion, which just moves it, rotates it, flips it, whatever. There's looks, which just change the costume, background, text, all that kind of stuff, size. Sounds are just sound effects, pitch, bass, and stuff like that. Events are what you do for the code to happen. Control is like loops, switches, etc. And then sensing is just detecting stuff and the code will work. Operators are just math, joining text and stuff. And then variables, this is usually for basketball. So let's first get started with motion. What motion does is that it will move the sprite, rotate, flip, etc. So first let's go to our events and let's go. I'm just gonna pull up when the space key is pressed. So that means whenever we press the space key, then the specific code will happen. So let's say move 10 steps. So since I press the space key, it'll move 10 steps. If you hold the space key, it'll just continually do it for 10 steps. Let's say I wanted to do -10. What this will do is that it'll move 10 steps back. I'm holding the space bar, so it'll do that. And it'll just move like that. Okay, so that's all what moving 10 steps. It just moves it 10 steps. Next, we got rotating and clockwise and counterclockwise. So when we press the space key, it'll rotate it clockwise. And then if we do it the other way, we can say turn 15 degrees and it will rotate counterclockwise. We can even flip the figure. So if we like did 180, what it will do, it'll flip the cat. And then if we wanted to flip it back 180, it'll flip the cat again like that. If we wanted it at like 90, then it'll rotate 90. And it'll go that way. And then 270, it'll just rotate that way. So that pretty much recaps it. You're just making the sprite. By the way, the sprite is the person, animal, etc. So that's just here. So the sprite's just turning clockwise or counterclockwise. And then here we got a position. So if we press the spacebar, then the sprite will go at a random position. It'll just move at a random position. So it'll just go like that. It'll just keep moving at a random position. It doesn't have to be at a random position. We can also do it with the mouse pointer. What this does, so if I point my mouse right here, the cat will move right there. If I point my mouse right here, the cat will move over there, and so on. And then we got positions. So right here, if you scroll down on the motion category, here you can see at what position is the cat currently at, or what position the sprite is currently at. So in this case, the sprite is currently at -2791. So if we were to change that, let's say 10 -74, it will move at that position. And yeah, it will just do that. We can just move it to whatever position we want. Here, what this next we're on gliding. So what this will do, it will glide to a random position. So like you can change this so we can like glide it for like 2 seconds to a random position. So yeah, it will be much slower because it takes 2 seconds, and basically so on. We can even change this to mouse pointer, so we can glide for 1 second over to the mouse pointer, and so on. So now here we don't have to. We can even choose a specific position. So like let's do 91 -20, and it will glide to that position. We can even change it, like I said, it'll glide 3 seconds to that position. But yeah, you kind of get the gist. It'll glide 3 seconds to the specified position shown. And then here you got the point and direction. What this does is that it kind of I guess you can say it'll just change the direction it goes. So in this case, it'll just point in that direction. If I move it down here, then it'll point in that direction. And yeah, it's basically what it is. Let me switch it back to 90. So that's pretty much how that works. And then here it will say point towards mouse pointer. So if I move my mouse right here, then it will point over there. If I move my mouse up here, it'll point up there, and so on. And then what these will do is like they will like move how can I describe it? So they'll move like to the position, so they'll like add 10 to whatever the position is. So it's just basically a copy of right up here, move 10 steps. So yeah, that's pretty much that. We can even set it to a specific position. So like whenever we press the space key, let's make that 145. It will already set to that position. Same thing works with Y. We can set it to that position. So what the if on edge will bounce, what this will do, if the sprite is ever on the edge, then it will bounce. And then here we got the rotation style. So let's go back to what we learned here, the clockwise. So let's say set rotation style. If we did left right, what it will do is that it will just keep rotating left right. Let me get rid of this. It'll just okay. Let me so you kind of get the thing. Don't rotate, just doesn't rotate. All around just rotates. It just rotates everywhere. And then I'm gonna check on left and right again. What left and right just does, it just keeps flipping left and right. I'm just trying to see what happened because it's not flipping left and right. Okay, and then let me go down. So just let's see. Oh yeah, by the way, you can move the sprite to whatever position you want. So let's see. So what will happen, it'll just do that. So let's say set rotation style left and right. What it will do, it'll just move it left and right like that. So that's pretty much that. And then once again, these just tell you what direction it's at and what position it's at. So that pretty much summarizes motion. What motion really does is that it just moves it, rotates it, or like sets it at a position or glides or like goes to a random stuff position, all that stuff. So now we're on to looks. So the first thing is text, speech bubbles. So if we press the space bar, then it'll say hello for 2 seconds and then it'll go away. We can change how many seconds it can say, but I'm just gonna do 2 seconds. If we wanted to say with like forever, without like for like permanent amount of time, for like ever, then it'll just stay like that, and then we can just get rid of that. And then the same thing works with the thinking. but like the speech bubble will be a little different. That's all it really is. So like as you see here, like the speech bubble is like that, the bottom of it's like that, and then when you're thinking it's like that. So you can edit whatever text you want, and then you can change it for how many seconds it is. And then it goes away after 4 seconds. So that's pretty much it for the text, speech bubbles. Now we got the costumes. So over here, we can see our costumes. There's even way more costumes for the specific sprite, but that's pretty much it for then. So let's say sprite 1, I think. Let me just type in cat, because I don't know the exact name. Yeah. I'm just gonna say cat flying beat. So we can switch the costume with the code. So let's say when we press the space key, the costume will switch. So let's say switch it to costume 1, and then we can even say next costume. What this will do is that it will just keep switching to the next costume. So let's say that, and then we'll just keep clicking next costume, and that's what will happen. We'll just keep pressing next costume, and it'll just keep on alternating what costume it is. So same thing works with the backdrops. Over here we can add the backdrops. I'm going to select a few for this demonstration, just going to select the first 4, but you can choose whichever backdrops seem appealing to you. So I chose those 4 backdrops for now. So let's say switch backdrop to Arctic. By the way, these show whichever backdrops you've chosen. So, and it'll switch its backdrop in a second. So here we can just switch to a random backdrop, previous backdrop, next backdrop, or whichever backdrop we feel like. So baseball 1. Oh, it's already baseball 1. So baseball 2, and so on. That's how that works. We can even do next backdrop just like the costume. So what it will do is that it will just switch the backdrop or the background. Here are the sizes. It will change the size of the sprite. The sprite can be reduced or it can be increased. So let's say if when we press the space key, the size will change by 10, so it will just increase. We can also do it the other way. We can make it smaller by making it negative. So that's how size works. Now we can set it to a specific size at the beginning, and like I said, if we scroll down enough, we can see that what size it is, we can see what backdrop it is, we can see what costume it is. So let's set the size to let's say 50. So when we press the space key, it'll be at 50, and then we can slowly just change the size. So what set size does, it just sets it at a specific size in the beginning. So that's pretty much the size effect. Now we got the filters, or I guess you can call them effects, filters. I call them filters. So whenever we press the space key, it'll change the color of the cat. It'll change so you can do whatever color you prefer. I'm just gonna go with the red because that's my favorite. And then we can set the color effect to whichever one we want. And it doesn't have to be a color effect. There's all other kinds of effects. There's fisheye, and then there's whirl, and then there's the pixelate, and then there's mosaic, brightness, and then ghost just makes it disappear. So yeah, that pretty much is it for the effects. Then we can show stuff, we can hide stuff. I'll get back to that later, but First, if we want to undo everything we did, we'll go to clear graphic effects. And now the sprite is back to the way it is. So let me go to the show and the hide. So what this does is that it will show something or it will like hide it. So let's say we add another sprite. Let's say Abby. Let's move her right about there. And then we'll go to events. Say if we press the space key, we will hide. I guess we can do that. Or no, let me just get rid of that. So let me do that again. So what it just does, so it shows the sprite. And then we can hide it. So the sprite will be hidden, but the same stuff will happen. So like if we say change color effect to 25, it will still change, like it will still make the changes, it's just that the sprite won't be shown. So like, let's move it back. Oh, we gotta hit the show. And as you see, Abby has changed her effect. So then we got the layers. So let's say we wanted to move Abby to the back. So we can use this. So we can make Abby go to the back, and she'll go to the back. Same thing works with the cat. So let me get rid of that, and then let's say we wanted it to go to the back layer, to go behind Abby. Okay, let me try a different kind of code. Oh yeah, I think it's because I have two of the same thing. Let's say when we click the sprite, and as you see, that's what it does. It makes the sprite go to the back layer. So that's pretty much that. And then we can also do we can make it go forward or back specific layers. There's only one layer I can go back though, so I'm just gonna go forward one layer. Is the same thing as this. So that's pretty much it for that. Now we're on to sound. So we can play specific sound effects. So I'm just gonna search up for some sounds. So you can go all the way over here to sounds, and then you can press a sound, and then let's say we chose alert. This one's a good one. And then let's say we wanted one more. Probably the most intriguing sound is probably the police siren. I'm gonna go with that one. So that's it for that. Let's say when we press the space, the sound will play. And then let me take down my volume because, yeah. So that's pretty much that. And then we can make this sound start. And then let's say we wanted to play both the sounds. It'll play them, and then we can make the sounds stop. The sounds will stop. So we can even change the pitch. Pitch kind of makes it higher and stuff. So let's say play the alert sound. So when we keep pressing space, it will kind of make it louder. And it'll just keep getting louder. And then we can even set the pitch effect to default, and we can set it to that already. And then down here we can see the volume, which is what we will get to now. And then we can clear everything from there. Now, lastly, we're on to volume. Volume is, it will just decrease it or increase it. And that's an epic bro moment because I do not have this. And it slowly starts to fade and get softer. We can increase it though. And it slowly starts to get louder. And then we can set the volume to a specific thing at the start. So we can set it to that volume at the start, and as you see, when we click on volume, it says it's at 100. So that pretty much summarizes it for sound. Sound is just really pitch, volume, how you're supposed to control a specific sound. You can select whichever sounds you want. You can even import songs that you like or sound effects that you like. I don't think songs really work in this case. So yeah, that's it for sound. Now we're on to events. There's not really much to demonstrate in events. It's pretty self-explanatory. They all work the code, but you can do several different ways for the code to work. So let's say when we click the flag, if we click this up here, then the code will work. The one I use often because it's the most convenient is when the space key is pressed. So when we press the space key, then it'll work. And then we can say any or left. We can whatever we choose is at our disposal. And then we have when this sprite clicked. So what this will do is when the sprite is clicked, the code will work. And then when backdrop switches to backdrop 1, then we can let's say play the sound. So let's say alert and then Arctic. And then let's go to events, let's say space. Let's go to looks, Arctic. And as you see, it has played the sound because the backdrop's is at the Arctic. The backdrop will switch, but the sound will not play because the backdrop is not switched to Arctic. So that's how that works. So now we got when loudness is greater than 10. So what this will do, so if the loudness is greater than 10, or if timer, etc., if it's greater than a specific point, we can edit this, then the code will happen. If you receive a specific message, then you can play the sound. So here I'm going to involve with the two sprites. So let's say when space key is pressed. I'm just gonna go down to sensing. I'm just giving a little preview about it. I'll get to it soon. So let's say ask what's your name and then wait. Or let's say hi and wait. And I'm just gonna move the cat and I'm gonna move Abby aside. So I have no clue what just happened. Oh, because we switched rights. Okay, so let's say when I receive the message, let's make it high. Then we will make the sound. Let's go with pop. So let's do it. Okay, so that's the next thing I was about to talk about. So we need to broadcast it. So let's say broadcast high. There. That should work. Or how about this? We don't even need to use the sensing. We can just go to looks and then we can just say hi. And then we can add that. Okay, so let me check on it. And the sound will play. So that's pretty much it for that. So whenever you receive a message, then that will play. And then this is the same thing. So that's it for events. Whenever something happens, the code will be whatever you code, but there's different ways to make the code work. So now we have control. So what this does wait 1 second. This is very important in like programming, robotics, etc. because of the fact that whenever like we wait for the program to happen. So we wait and then it works. So then we got the repeat. By the way, let me just demonstrate this really quickly. So when space key is pressed, we'll wait 1 second, and then let's say we switch the backdrop to the Arctic. And as you see, it waited 1 second, and then it switched its backdrop to the Arctic. So that's how that works. Then we got the control, and then we got the next one, which is another common one, repeat. So we can repeat it as many times as we want. I'm just going to go with the default, which is 10. So let's say we're going to play the sound police siren until done. So what it will do, it will play it. So that's pretty much that. And then we got the next one, which is forever. So what this does is that it will forever repeat that thing. There's no limit. It'll just keep on going unless you stop it. So it'll just keep on going. That's literally defines forever. And then we got these two, or we got these. I will talk about these later when we get to operators and sensors. So hang in there and I'll get back there and then I'll do it. And then this just stops everything. So that's pretty much it for control. So all it is that we can like control how long it is for something to happen. We can wait for it. We can repeat something. We can do it forever. And then like these are something different. So like if this happens and that, if this happens then this happens, if not then that happens. I'll get to these three soon. So let's go to sensing. What sensing really does is like it kind of detects something and the code kind of happens. So like if this is touching Abby, I guess, then the code will happen. So I'm just gonna demonstrate it right now. I was gonna do it with the operators, but might as well just do it now. So if it's touching Abby, then play the sound. So let me just get rid of that. Okay, I don't know what's going on. But if it is touching, then the code will happen. And then here, if you're touching a specific color, then the code will happen. If this color is touching that, then that will happen. And then distance to this, and so on. So here it says ask what's your name and wait. So let me just quickly do a demonstration with this. So it'll just be what's your name, and then let's say we go on to the answer. Let's create the answer. Let's go to control, wait 1 second, and then what should I do? Let's go and let's say Abby. And as you see here, we can click on it, and that's the answer. So that's pretty much it. It like allows you to like type something, and then that will just show up for the answer. So we can even do this. When the space key is pressed, can wait for 1 second, and then we can say it. And then as you see, it will still say. But here's where you can put it, and then the answer will show up from there. Okay, let's get back to sensing. So here we got if the key is being pressed, then that will happen, and then we can set the mode for the code to happen, if it's draggable or not. And then here is like by the way, these hexagon shaped things are called Booleans. They only have two answers, true or false, or yes or no. That's literally a Boolean. If you want to check out that video, it's on the top right hand corner. Just be sure to click on it and watch that. And then you got the mouse and stuff. This right here, these just gives the direction of where the mouse is. These just tell how loud they are in the timer currently, and then we can just undo it by resetting the timer, and yeah, so on. So that's just pretty much it for sensing, and then here we can say the current year, and then we can type in what year it is, and yeah. Okay, so sensing was pretty short. There's not really much there. So let me get into one of the biggest things, operators. So first things first, the sprite can calculate some mathematical problems. So let's say we go let's do that, and let's say what is 5 plus 9? And Abby will say 14. Like we can put in our answer here and say it. But yeah, she'll do it. The same thing works with subtraction. So if we were to do subtraction, and then we'll say if 6, what is 6 minus 1? Abby will give us an answer. And then I'm just going to get rid of the cat for now. And then let's say if we can do multiplication too. Let's say 5 times 87, and it will calculate it for you. And then lastly, division. We got 20 divided by 5. We got 4. So those are the 4 simple operations it can do. We can even make it pick a random number from 1 to 10, and it'll pick 1. So I'm going to go back to operators, and you can combine several different operators. Like let's say we combine that here, and then yeah. So like we can make it do complex math problems by combining several different ones. So let's say 7 times 8 minus 9, and then plus that. And then it will calculate it for you. That's pretty much it. You can just combine several different ones to make it a long mathematical problem that it will solve. So let me go back to control and talk about what I said I was going to talk about. So let's start with this one. So if this is true, then this will happen. So let's say we wanted to play the pop sound. So let's say if 80 is greater than 50, then the sound will play. If let's say 30 is greater than 50, the sound won't play due to the fact that 30 is not greater than 50. And then same thing works with the less than and equal. So if 40 is less than 50, the sound will play. If 80 is less than 50, the sound won't play due to the fact that 80 is not less than 50. So then we got these. So what these pretty much are is like the and, or, and not. So and means both of them have to be true for the code to happen. So let's bring that And then let's bring that. So let's say if 80 is greater than 50, and if 30 is greater than 50, then the sound will play. But it won't play due to the fact that neither of them are true. If we make one of them true, so let's say if we made 60 is greater than 50, the sound still won't play because only one of them is true. So they both have to be true in order for the sound to play. And the sound will play because they're both true. So when it comes to OR, either one have to be true. And by the way, I kind of covered this in my Booleans in Python lesson. Be sure to click the top right hand corner for that. So if one of them work and the other one doesn't, then it'll still play. You can still make both of them true. Both of them can still be true. It's just that the requirements for OR is that only one of them need to be true. Let's say we make this 60 and then we make this 80. The sound will still play because one of them is true. But if we make neither of them true, if we make both of them true, the sound will still work. But if we make neither of them true, then the sound will not play. The sound won't play. And then not just reverses whatever you put. So let's say if 30 is less than 50, which it is, you might think the sound will play, but it won't because not reverses it. So that means it won't play. So like let's say we had 60. The sound will play because not just reverses what the actual thing is. Since 60 is not less than 50, the sound will play. I hope that makes sense. And then here you got, let's go back to control. This one. So let's say if 60 is greater than 50, we will switch the backdrop to basketball 1. If 60 is not greater than 50, then we will make it switch to the Arctic. Let me make that random backdrop. So if 60 is greater than 50, switch it to a random backdrop. If 60 is not greater than 50, switch it to the Arctic. So because else just kind of means not. By the way, this is a switch. What a switch does, like, if something is true, then one thing will happen. If it's not true, then another thing will happen. That's kind of what we're doing here. And then what the control does is that it just waits until this happens, and then yeah, and then it will happen. And then repeat, all repeat does, we repeat until this happens, and when this happens, it stops. And then here we can stop everything. So that's pretty much it for operators. We still have a few more things to cover. So we can join two texts together. So let's go here. Let's go down to operators, and let's join apple and banana. By the way, these texts can be edited, so you can choose whatever text you want. You do not have to choose what they say. So let's say press it, and both of the texts will join. So that's pretty much how the join thing works. It joins both the texts together. We can even ask for a specific letter in a word. So let's say if we wanted to ask for oh, this is something different. My bad. So let's say if we wanted to ask for the first letter in apple, Abby will tell us the first letter in apple, and it's A. And then if we wanted the fifth letter of apple, it's E. And yes, so on. And then length of apple, what it will do is that it will tell us how many characters are in there. And then all this, operators allow us to do complex math. So we can do sine, cosine, tangent, all trigonometry and kind of stuff. But I'm not getting into that now. And then here we have mods and stuff like that. So let's go with the last one. So we can go back to control, and let's say if apple contains A, then we will make it switch the backdrop. Because apple contains A, it will switch the backdrop. Let's say if apple contains B, it will not switch the backdrop because apple does not contain B. That's pretty much it with operators. Now let's go on to variables. So what variables really do, I'm not really able to demonstrate them at this moment, but what they really do, they're really helpful in like basketball games. If you want to check out my block coding basketball game on code.org, be sure to click the top right hand corner because I will be putting that too. And then change, what the change does, it just changes, shows, hides it, and yeah, so on. And then lastly, you can make your own block to whatever fits your code. So I hope you like this long lesson on Scratch. I hope it really helped you, especially for Santo Come. Thank you for telling me on Scratch. I haven't learned Scratch in a while. It took me like, I remember learning it back in like 6th grade or something, and I completely forgot about it. I'm in 8th grade right now. So yeah, thank you for telling me on that. I hope you learned a lot from this long lesson on Scratch and a complete breakdown on what it is. Once again, it's just a copy of code.org. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more coding content. And if you enjoy it, leave a like on this video. And also check out my other social medias, Discord and Insta. Insta's Kids Coding Club. And then be sure to join my Discord server. Links in the description below. Anyway, bye for now.